how to increase your confidence at your place of work. So, like I remember when I got my first employment, and I didn't know what the office environment is like. I was used to doing my own thing. Like I own my own musical studio.
Yeah, never worked with people before.
Yeah, so I've never worked with a team. I've never worked with a group of people, from different tribes and religion and all that. So, but when I got into this, when I got this employment, and I noticed that I was kind of the odd man in the team. I was always on my own, and it didn't really fix me in the midst of the crowd. I was separated. I was like, it's not like they separated me. I separated myself because I was used to that life of working
alone.
Yeah. So, and gradually I started picking up, and I noticed that the first thing I did was to learn a new skill, which I found in them. Like I had to mix up and then learn something new to me that wasn't really new to them. They were used to this, presentation, talk in the midst of crowd. I wasn't built up like that. I wasn't built to really have that conversation with a group.
To be in the spotlight.
Yeah, I never had that opportunity to, stand up in the midst of crowd and then say something, and sometimes people laugh and all that. No, I never had the time. So, but that's a new skill to me. So I had to open up. I started building that skill inside of me. Sometimes I would just maybe call one or two of them, try to have a chat with them or gist with them and all that. And all of a sudden, that's how I started, putting myself in the midst of the crowd. So one thing there, you have to develop a new skill, especially the kind of skill that other colleagues are, they possess.
That they have,
you have to really put yourself in there and start learning. Learn a new skill,
Definitely. I actually fully agree with you. And to also add to what you said, for me, one thing I found out is very, very important is wherever it is you find yourself, whatever role you've taken up at a particular organization, you need to know how to do your work.
Oh, yeah.
You need to be good at what you do. And when I say this, I mean this in terms of when you get to a new place, it's very likely that there's somebody else who is also
doing what
you're doing. Yeah. So if you are not up to task, you'll be seen as this person who isn't really good, and you think maybe in your mind you think that you are skilled, you think that you are at a particular level. Maybe where you were before, you were seen as a champion. That he's the best at this thing. But you get to another place where you meet those who are more experienced, who have more skill than you do.
Yeah.
And then you begin to have self-doubts that. So all I thought I knew
it was just a tip of the
iceberg.
You didn't know much as you ought to.
Exactly. So it kind of boils down to what you mentioned about skill.
Learning
new skills. So you have to learn more about what you are doing, your role in that particular organization, build yourself up more, because when you do a particular job and then everybody is comes to you and they say, this thing you did is not up to par. It's not
par.
Your manager calls you, your supervisor calls you, and then you begin to feel down.
And I noticed that can also bring your self-esteem. It can also
extremely low.
Because
extremely
when a colleague has complained and maybe another one was invited to come and also make his or her own observation, and that one brings it all down and it gets to the management. From that moment onward, you begin to feel like, okay, fine, am I really up to the task?
You begin to have some self-doubts.
Yeah, you begin to, whatever you do from then onwards will begin to look like it's not enough, even to you.
Definitely.
And everything you do from that point onward will be observed by not just one person again.
A lot of people.
A lot of people will have to observe it, because you've already proven yourself that, okay, fine, I'm not up to what they expect. So I believe doing that, you have to get yourself in the midst of the crowd, know what their expectations are, and then build your own skill to meet up with their expectation. That's what I feel.
Definitely. And you also need to be open open to having conversations with people,
Conversation, yeah.
open to relating with people as well.
Yeah.
Because some people might think that, oh, I'm a lone ranger. I work better on my own.
alone.
I can do this on my own. You find out that when you relate with your co-workers better, they are even the ones who can give you that push
That push, yeah.
that you need. So it could be a situation where maybe you do something wrong, you don't do something properly. When you're on a good level with your co-workers, they could even be the ones to put an arm around you and say, okay, this thing didn't work out,
It didn't work out well.
but don't worry, the next one,
You can do better.
do better. You can do it like this
And
and so
that
on.
boils down to personal relationship.
Yes.
Being a people person, understand what this person and this person are like. You understand? Because if you have a perfect relationship with your co-workers, definitely whatever you do will go smooth. And if you don't do it well, they'll give you that pat on the back that, okay, fine, you didn't do it very well, but you made an attempt.
Of course.
It can be better. It can be better. And you'll find that you will begin to build.
Gradually.
Because most of us will feel, oh, I've done it, I'm a professional in this, nobody else knows it better than I do, therefore whatever I deliver to you is perfect. No. It is not perfect that way.
It never is.
Yeah, because everything you do, even when you feel it's perfect and right, there are some errors you might not notice. Someone else will. And that's why you don't just put your job out there and say that's what it is. No. Get a group of people among your team to observe what you've done.
Let them give you more
And let them
insights.
give you more insights. And even if you feel they are wrong with their insights, let them know why you feel they are wrong. If you know better than them, explain to them, but never leave out the part where you have to make them observe what you're doing. Because we don't know it all ourselves.
Oh, yes.
You understand? We don't know it all ourselves. There are some aspects we might think we know better, but somebody we think that doesn't know anything might know a little better than you.
That you do.
In that aspect. So you just have to express it. Then another way I feel we can build our confidence is when we dress for success. You get what I'm saying? When you dress for success, they say when you look good, your confidence is built.
You look good, you feel good.
Yeah, and your confidence is built. Take for instance, everybody else in the office, they are normally suited, that's good tie. They just dress themselves
The
nice.
fitted suits,
When
nice
you
shoes.
come with your long sleeve and then your little pants, I know maybe you're not putting on a nice shoe.
Your baggy pants, probably.
Exactly. And then you begin to feel like I'm the only one left out here. When they are holding some kind of strategic meetings and all that, you find out that you'll be seated at the back.
At the back, all the way at the back, because
All the way
you
at the
don't
back.
feel
You don't
like
feel like you. Even when they call you out to come and do your presentation, trust me, that presentation will not be as what it should be, because your attention will be divided at that moment. How are they looking at me? They are all properly dressed. I'm not. So there will be so much thoughts going through your head while you are trying to, find your way around getting a good presentation done and all that. Your attention will be divided.
And that's the thing. Even when they're not looking at you, you
Yeah.
feel that
You
they're
feel
all
they are
looking
all
at you, like
looking at
all
you.
eyes
Yeah.
are on you. So
And-
you're so self-conscious.
And you'll find out that your eyes will be moving left, right, and center, trying to see who's looking at your dress.
Even when people are not even looking
And
at
looking
you.
at you, they are also keen to, hearing what you are talking about. But at that moment, you feel like they are all dragging you.
You mentioned something earlier about perfection. I feel I need to mention this. There's this saying that practice makes perfect.
Perfect.
I heard something recently that actually changed the way I think. It said practice makes improvements.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that ever, and I heard that, and it changed the way I thought. That wow, that there's no perfection.
Yeah.
Nothing can ever be perfect.
Which means you can always get better.
You can always get better.
When you do, like, there are some people, when you wake them up from sleep and say, what is this and this and this? If they are good at it, they tell you immediately.
Without even thinking about
That's
it.
beyond perfection. That's mastery. You get what I'm saying? You already I listened to Les Brown recently, and he said, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes improvement. You can always get better every day when you do that same thing over and over again. And it's so true. I'll tell you the truth. It's so true. Okay. I remember when I started production, creating of music and all that. For the first 1 year, I thought I've known it all. Actually thought I've known it all. Until I met a different kind of artist that does a different kind of music.
And your eyes were just opened.
I was like, where do I begin? Where do I begin to make this work? So not until I sat down and said, okay, fine, I can't really do this on my own, but I have somebody I can work with to get your song done. And I had to invite the person all the way from Edo State
Wow.
to come and work for me. Honestly, I thought I knew it all. All right. So, but when that person came, I watched how the person did it. And then from that moment, I started doing it on my own. So you cannot always get this thing right all the time. There are some moments in your life where you have to know that, I have to learn more. Because even those that have come before us, they didn't know it all.
They didn't know it all.
There are a lot of things they didn't know then that we are now practicing and we know now.
And there are things that we know now that those coming after us
Yes,
are going to even know
they
more
know
than
what
that.
we have. So I don't see any perfection anywhere. I only see improvements when you move and do what you do every day.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I also want to say that I can also relate to that experience you had, because when I got into presentation, when I got into the radio, it was like my first foray. I hadn't been in that space before, so it was completely new. Before I got in, I was always afraid about, how will I be able to work the console, the software and everything. I was always afraid. So when I got in fresh, I had somebody who put me through. So in the first 1 or 2 weeks or thereabouts, there was always somebody with me in the studio to make sure that I don't make a mistake. At different points, I made a few mistakes here and there. But I mean, a couple of months down the line, I'm definitely not where I was back then. So now I feel more comfortable. I can go into the studio now on my own and do my programs, read my news, and so on and so forth. That's because I kept on learning, kept on improving on that. So when you keep doing that, you begin to have more confidence. I wasn't as confident then because I was always afraid in my mind, what if I make a mistake? What if I go and press the wrong button?
How many people are listening to me right now?
Exactly.
Yeah, so if I press the wrong button and then I get the wrong thing out there, it becomes an issue for me.
Exactly.
The management is listening, Yeah, talking about improvement, I also feel developing your communication skill matters a lot.
It's important.
Yeah, how you communicate with people, your countenance, you understand? Your way of interaction, you also need to build.
It's very key. It's a very
if you're this kind of, I once had a colleague that he's always very angry and moody.
I don't think anybody would want to work with that person.
You might have little conversation within the first 1 minute might go well.
might go well.
And then you feel, okay, that's good. We're having a conversation already. Trust me, before the end of that conversation, both of you might have 1 or 2 things to trash out. Why? Because he impacts on you what he has on the inside, and that's anger and bitterness. The communication with him, all right, you might just hit a spot and then all of a sudden it blows out into flame.
Just like that.
So you have to learn to communicate with people and build that mindset of, okay, fine, whatever goes wrong, I'll keep it in me and be happy with this person. And be happy with our conversation. What is the conversation all about? That should be the main focus. Am I trying to build a skill with this person? Am I trying to have a successful opportunities from this person whereby things can move from where it is right now to where I want it to be? Your conversation with people has to be something that will build your life. Most of us will spend time communicating on things that are irrelevant. Things that are not up to taste.
They're not beneficial.
They are not beneficial to you. Okay? So if you learn your communication skill with your colleagues, especially regarding why you are there, why you are employed,
your purpose
you find that,
for being
that even
that space.
when you are in the meeting, you will be called upon to always give ideas, talk about one or two things and all that concerning the company. Okay, so building your communication skill helps you at your workplace a lot.
Definitely, because then you are able to speak with that confidence we're talking about. You're able to speak authoritatively on the subject matter that is being discussed. So this also goes back to being well versed and well skilled in that particular thing. The management will definitely not call someone who does not really know about that subject matter to speak. So the individual who will be picked is someone they know he's well versed, he's experienced, and can carry himself well. So when you have all those attributes together, you can stand before any group or any board or any crowd and speak on the subject matter because your confidence levels are more or less through the roof.
Yeah, and also attending professional trainings also help you to build your confidence at your workplace. When you take, for instance, you go for maybe a conference meeting and you hear people talk. Trust me, before you leave that place, you pick one or two things that will help build your life, that will help you build your confidence. Because imagine a girl of maybe 28 years old giving a speech that has to do with building the nation, how to pick up the next, how to select the next president. You know, you on your own, sitting down wherever you are, maybe at the back, at the middle, or wherever, you know you can't do that. You know you're not built to that level at the moment. But before you leave that place, that impact alone will create something in you to let you know that yes, if she can do it, you can
do it. It'll give you that drive.
Yes. So when you are in spaces like that, you begin to build your confidence in being around people, being around people who are more relevant than yourself. You begin to build your confidence. I remember I when I was little, we were these kind of kids that only go to school, you come back from school, you are inside.
Do your homework and go to bed.
Go to bed.
I also lived through that.
And at the end of the day, we were only used to ourselves. We weren't used to, the street life, what the street can impact on you. We were not used to that. But at the end of the day, I saw the effects when when later went to the university. I saw the effect. Once I'm going to class, I'm going to class. When I'm coming back, I'm coming back, and inside my hostel, and that's it. I later found out that in the evening I would see boys and girls just jump out, and then maybe 9-10 p.m. you see them coming back, and then I was like, is that how it's supposed to be? Or are they having lectures in the night? So, but later on, I started mixing up, and all of a sudden, I knew that, this is what you've been missing. So, tell me, Tony, are you going to face the future being an introvert? Or you have to, break out of this being or person that you are and then move into something else? That was when I started building my faith and going to conference, going to meetings that could build my confidence and all that. And at the end of the day, I started having opportunities to do some other things that I wasn't doing before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If you want to have a new life, develop a new skill, it will change the direction of where you're going to. That's so true. I learned video editing, okay? And all of a sudden, income started coming from video editing. So just imagine I didn't do that. I didn't take my time to learn it.
Then definitely income would not come.
Yeah, that won't be a part of my income.
You learned that and it opened
a new door to another stream of income for me. So what I'm trying to say is, when you start putting yourself in some kind of positions, going to conference, learning new things and all that, you'll find out that there are so many doors that will start opening for you. People you've not been able to connect with before, or you didn't imagine you would connect with. you start connecting with them. I work for people abroad, sitting down here, right here in Nigeria. All right, because of the skills I've developed for myself. So if I have not done that, even in my place of work, no one will call me to say, "Oh, please, we have one or two things to do," and we've been told or informed that you have the skill and you can do it. What if I didn't develop myself? The management will not ask me to do that.
Of course.
Yeah, because you see, that's why I said going to conferences, meeting professional works and professionals who know better than you do will help you change how or build your confidence at your place of work.